arguments or components inside the Tableau desktop tool: groups, sets, and parameters. All these three are, even though smaller in terms of functionality, they are very vital in achieving certain targeted outputs in every report. Now we will see what is groups, how can we create groups, how can we edit members inside the groups, and all the other functionalities. The same with sets. What are sets? What is the advantage of having sets? What's the difference between sets and groups? And how can we take advantage of using sets? And also parameters. Parameters is one of the most widely used component in a Tableau report in real time. First, let's answer the question: why should someone learn Tableau? Tableau is simply nothing but a data visualization tool which helps people to convert the raw data into a visualization report. Maybe it can be a report, it can be a chart, it can be just a dashboard out of it. But the idea of Tableau is to convert your raw data, which is either text or number, to something that can be represented visually. That is the idea. Now why should someone want to convert numbers or information data into charts? It is because as a human being we don't have the liberty to play with huge amount of data. Say for an example, if I have 1 TB of data, how can, as a human being, I go and understand all the line items that are there inside the data set, which becomes really tedious. Even if I have 10 plus rows in my data set, as a human being I cannot consume the data as it is, but rather by converting or putting the data into a visualization, just by understanding the trends, where it is increasing, where it is decreasing, and all those things, I will be able to consume the data which is generated through the business. Consuming data means you are consuming business, which means that you are understanding the business better. Even in professional life, even in personal life, you need visualization. We all know that a picture speaks more than a word, more than 1,000 words, right? So by picturizing things, people can understand it. Even though if they do not know what is there inside the data, they can just understand the visualization and understand the business outright. To understand where I wanted to improve my business, to understand where am I lagging, to understand to whom should I provide bonus, and all those things can be done with the help of visualization. So it becomes vital, irrespective of your professional choices, you need to know a data visualization tool. Now let me quickly introduce about OdinSchool as well as about me. OdinSchool is a technology upskilling platform. They help us continuously acquire new skills. Their motto is to stay skilled and stay ahead. I'm Gautam Kumar Jayachandran. I have 6+ years of experience as working as a senior data scientist. I work in several technologies starting from Excel, SQL, Python, Tableau, machine learning, and analytics. I also work with several domains in my overall experience. Let's see today's agenda. As we saw in the first slide, the day's agenda is about learning groups, sets, and parameters. Learning about all these three important components are very important in creating visualization, which is which is what I would say, which will fulfill the requirement of the business user. Because at cases, the data is distributed globally. When I say globally, the data might be present across the country, across all the countries. Now if I have 200 plus countries where I have my business, I cannot see 200 bar charts and understand my business. 200 bar charts will be bars inside the chart will be very clumsy in nature. So rather I can group the countries by region. Okay, these countries are coming from APAC region, these countries are coming from Latam region, these countries are coming from EMEA region. So if I group them by region, I can easily consume it rather than seeing it at a granular level. So that way groups helps. Sets also type of creates groups only, but it takes condition and then fulfills it, and the fulfilled output will be shown to us in boolean, either it is true or false. We will see that as well. Parameters lets us to perform several actions. We will see almost all types of actions that can be used in parameters. The first thing is groups. As I said, groups, the name itself suggests that the functionality of this particular component inside Tableau desktop is to group the data basis similarity or dissimilarity. It is a free free choice. I would say we can hand pick the members that are supposed to be present in one group that are supposed to be in another group. Let me show you with data. Let's first connect with, I'll connect with sample superstore data, so you can also connect with the same and follow along. Once the data loads, I'll show you the dimensions and measures. From there, we can actually start with start seeing what are the data that is present at a very granular level, what are the dimensions that can be grouped, and if I group, will it make sense? All those things we can see in the data. Um, let's wait for the data to be loaded completely. Looks like the data is loaded. Just need to refresh it. Since I have several applications, powerful applications like Google Chrome and other studios are running, my machine is a little slow. But generally, when you work with Tableau, you must be very cautious about the other parallel applications that are running in your OS. If your OS has good memory, like 8 GB, 16 GB, then it is fine. If your OS is like 4 GB, like mine, so in that case, you need to be cautious about the other powerful applications running parallelly. By default, this dataset has two parameters. However, I will delete them because we are going to create them parallelly, create them here completely from the scratch and see how can that be used as a component. I'll just delete these two components. Yep. Then I'll see if there is any grouping. There is a group here. Let me ungroup it. Uh, Profit bin and top customers. Let me delete this also. Yeah, I'm just cleaning the data here, removing things that I don't want. Perfect. Since this is already grouped, let me see. Let me remove the groups also. Then I'll show you how to group this. Uh, it's not a group anymore. If I see, all the members will be present. Perfect. This is our good example that we can pick. There is a hierarchy also already. Okay. Let's see grouping first. Let me try to add data and show you the data at a granular level, and then we will group the data. Customer ID, ship date, ship mode. Okay, let's see how many ship modes are there. There are only 4 shipping modes. We don't want this. Once the data is at a granular level, then it'll make sense to group things. Yeah, I think this will be a good example. I'll just keep the geographical role to none. We will see maps in a different class altogether, and then I'll change this into other, which ways it will create a map as soon as I drag and drop. I just wanted to see the data here. Looks like 49 states are there. Okay, perfect. So with this, I think the entire country is only United States. Let me see that also, verify this, so that what we can do is we can create a region sector. Yes, perfect. You see here, all the states information that we have in the data set is belonging to the country United States. In this case, what I wanted to do is I would like to create regions: east, west, north, and south. I do not know what are the members that actually will be in East United States and West United States, all those things. I'm going to randomly distribute the data points into 4 different groups and call them East, West, North, South. In this case, we don't have that grouping in this data set. Say for an example, I would like to see, okay, region is there. Let me see, where is region? Okay, it is already there. But yeah, let's forget this. Let's assume that this region component is not there. We will try to group this information into 4 different groups and see how it can be leveraged. Now let me show you the sales happened across all these 4 regions and the profit to it. Let us plot a simple chart out of it. Just keep it here. Or how about a stacked bar chart? This one doesn't seem so good, but yeah, we can use this. Other which is, I think it is good to see it in numbers only because this chart doesn't convey information properly. Maybe I'll remove profit, I'll keep only sales. That way we will have four different regions. Now I would like to see how much sales happened in East region, how much sales happened in West region, how much sales happened in North as well as in South region. I do not have this, since assuming that I do not have this information, what I'll do is I'll go to the state dimension, right click on that, choose option create. In create you have an option called group. I'll just choose group and then drag it here, where you can see all the members of that particular dimension being present here. There are 49 members in this dimension state. All these members are there. So 49 divided by 4 will be somewhere close to um 10, and then we will have another 8, so 12 and 13. So what I'll do is I'll keep 12 members in the first three groups and the last group will have 13 members in it. So let me do that. What I have to do is, if I have to group things, I have to select them. I'm using shift select to select multiple members in consistency. So let me go one by one also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The first 12 members in the group in this particular dimension will be grouped. Once I select the members, all I have to do is select group. If in this case I'll say East America, I'll just keep it East, and then if I maximize this, sorry, minimize this, the values disappear. If I maximize this, the values will show up, but let's minimize it. Then I will choose the next 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then again I'll choose group. I'll say West America. Then I'll minimize this. So if you see here, there are two groups already created in the dimension state. Then I'll pick the next 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Group this. I'll say North. We have three members now, three groups now. Then the last remaining I can simply choose, and then I can group, or I can choose include other. So if I group here, I can customize this. I can say this as South. Okay, that way all the members in the dataset are grouped to some other dimension here, some other category here. Rather than that, what I can do is I can ungroup this. If I wanted to ungroup elements from a particular group, I can select that group and simply press ungroup. It automatically ungroups everything. In this case, so whenever you are performing certain grouping operation, when you wanted to when you are done with grouping elements, and if there are still members left out of the dimension, what you can do is you can choose the include other option, where the remaining data points or the members will be grouped called as other. Here by default it becomes other. Then I'll go rename it as South. That way also you can do it, just a different type of approach to perform the same operation. I think we have done the grouping here, so what I'll do is I'll simply give apply and give OK. In this case, what I'll do is, now see here, what we have is we have state, which is a dimension which is present separately, and we now have created a group called state group. What I'll do is I'll simply drag it before state, so you can see region wise information. In West, what are the states that are there and what is the sales? In South, what is it? In North, what it is? In East, what it is? So it is now already grouped by itself. Now if I wanted to keep east below each and every line item here, that is also we can achieve with a workaround. There is no straightforward approach, but we can do a workaround to achieve that as well. But in this case, I can remove state and understand the business directly with the help of this grouping operation. Now I can see only four charts. In the initial case, when we had state information for each and every member, then we were not able to understand this. Look at this. This is such a big chart. We will not be able to understand the business information. Rather, we can, summarize it at a particular level with the help of group operation. The best thing about group is you can hand pick any members to anywhere. Now if I enable that label, it will show us the values. Deselect the the show header option. We don't want to see this also. I don't want to see this as well. Entire view will not look so good, so I'll keep it in standard only, and then I'll format this so it'll look good. Go to format, remove the row header and column divider, go to grid lines, remove your grid lines in both rows as well as columns, so our chart will look neat and clean. I'll just remove this. Looks like my chart do not have any information, any unnecessary elements in it, only required information. But here the problem is I don't like the color. By default it gives us blue color. I don't like the color. I can change the color whenever it is required. I can change this. Say for an example, if I wanted to beautify this, beautify the values, beautify the chart that we have here, what I'll do is I'll simply duplicate this is duplicate sum of sales, and what I'll do is I'll edit this element and add, mm, say for an example, 100 or 1000 to everything. If I had this, now my bars in the second chart will be bigger than the first charts. Just to format this, I'm doing this. This is not the right approach to do as well, but in the interest of formatting it, I'm doing this. What I'll do is I'll simply right click, dual axis this. I'll change both the charts into line bar charts. The second bar chart will have a very lighter color. I'll choose a lighter color to this, blue tail, the first color, and then the sales inside this will have a darker color into it, or it might be the other way around, darker and lighter. That way it'll look like a bar inside a bar, and it'll look like an ice cream as well. Right click, synchronize axis. 1000 doesn't seem to have any much information. Move marks to front. Okay, so what I'll do is I will add 10,000 and see how does it actually work. This looks okay to me. Then what I'll do is I'll go to the second chart and then decrease the size a little. Yeah, this way our charts will look nice and clean. I'll go to the first chart, add the sales value into the label, not in the second one, in the first one, or maybe in the second one. I think it will make more sense. I'll just drag this into the label. So if you see here, this particular chart is a bar chart only, but it's not a regular bar chart. We try to create a bar inside bar by just manipulating the information so that it looks good and different to the user's view. This is something that we can achieve with the help of a bar inside bar chart. Again, the same thing can also be achieved another way as well. Let me show you the other way as well. I'll remove the manipulated information. I'll simply show the labels here. But inside this, I'll choose border. In border, what I'll do is I'll choose the thickness size. Where the thickness size is not increasing. Okay, in this case also it looks like a bar instead of bar only, but doesn't look like I can increase the size of the bar, size of the border. Doesn't work that way. So yep, so we can retain with this, which looks more, you know, it is not very different from the bar chart that we have, but it is definitely relaxing to the eyes because people are already bored of bar charts. Too many bar charts are already there in the market, so bar charts are always boring. Trying to add a few elements which will make more sense, and it will grab their attention as well. Okay, they'll see, okay, this chart looks nice. What is there in this? Okay, in west region it is 2,99,000. Looks like west is not performing well, north is also not performing well, east and south are performing really good for me. I can understand the business just by seeing this after aggregating the data at a particular dimension level. This is how grouping can be taken into help. I'll create another way. This is just a straightforward approach of grouping the element. Let me show you another way of grouping the element. I'll show you the formats that can be done in the state group. Now see here, say for an example, I have one member in extra and south. Assume Pennsylvania. It has to be in west or east or some other group. How can I do it? As soon as I select a member from a particular group, it asks me whether I wanted to change this into some other member. Say for an example, I would like to change this into east region. I simply choose East and Pennsylvania becomes a member in the East group. So you can toggle between members inside each and every group. Then, as we have already seen, if I wanted to rename the group, I can rename, or if I wanted to ungroup the data points, I can do that as well. Include other reset and find option. Okay, this is an advanced option that we have. Let's use this find option using in manufacturer. Okay, I wanted to create a group out of this. I'll create group. In this case, if you see here, there are huge number of line items present in each and every manufacturer. There are a lot of manufacturers present in the data set. But how do I group them? Since I cannot manually identify where is it, what I can do is I can choose find option. I will ask the machine to find for Xerox. So it finds Xerox for me and then selects everything that contains Xerox in it. By default, it says contains. We can also say identify me anything that starts with A. I'll say starts with A. So anything that starts with A will be selected by default. We can directly go ahead and group it. And then range also is all only. If I wanted to find next, we can find next one by one. But eventually the idea is to find every member that starts with B, for an example. So B will be there, and then I can go and group it saying that companies starting with B are manufacturers starting with B. This is the additional option that we have. So let me create few groups here. The first thing is it should start with yeah. I'll find all, group them, manufacturers, manufacturers. Yeah, I'll simply copy this so I can keep it for the next grouping. Minimize this. Then I would like the machine to identify for B group. I want this also, but instead of A, I'll keep it as B. Next is C. Group them, rename them as C, minimize them and C. Next is D. I think we have less only. I don't think we have more. Let's D. This is maybe I'll group for one other 2, 3 alphabets and then keep everything else as others. This is manufacturer Z and this is F. This is F. And then this is G. Next thing is G. With this, I'll wrap up the grouping. Find all, group G. Okay, we have these manufacturers. Remaining all, I would like to group it as others. I'll rename this as manufacturers H and above. Rename this. That's it. Apply this, give OK. Put this into the visualization. See the value. Looks like it is very clear that there are multiple manufacturers in this group, so the value is crazily high compared to other data points. I can show you the chart. You can see that the data is grouped and then looks like manufacturers starting from G or starting from H are having higher values, but this is something that we already know because there are multiple manufacturers. So I'll simply select it and exclude it. Simply exclude it. So we can compare between only the manufacturers that we just grouped. So these are the different manufacturers that we have and see the information accordingly. Manufacturers A, B, C and all those things. Just label this. It tells me what manufacturer has performed better. So manufacturers starting with the name of C and G are performing really well in terms of generating higher sales compared to other manufacturers that are there in the business. That brings us to the end of grouping. Maybe I'll show you one small trick that you can use. Groupings, sometimes what happens in real time is you don't you will not be using these components directly, but To add more insights, to add more information to the business, what we can do is we can add them indirectly and show them to the users. Let me show you how to add them indirectly and incorporate it into a existing chart. I would like to say, um, say for an example, I would like to see ship mode. Okay, makes sense. Segment. What are the different segments? Okay, sounds good to me. And then I would like to see sales. Get a simple small chart. Yeah. Now, if you see this, we have sales across each and every segment under each and every ship mode. It says we have earned the standard class delivery is actually performing better in consumer segment. In corporate section also standard class delivery is performing better, as well as the same with home office setup. But what if I wanted to know how much of sales happened at each region level for first class, each region level for same day delivery, second class delivery, and standard class delivery? I cannot add more. I can actually add more, but the problem is it will look clumsy, right? Then it becomes really tough to understand this information. So we'll keep it as simple as what we have here. Then we will add more information to this by going to the first sheet. In the first sheet, we have sales information across regions. So what I'll do is I'll come to group here, and then go to tooltip. In tooltip, what I'll do is I'll simply insert the sheet that we just created. Insert one. Let me preview this. It looks very good to me. Just give OK. And then as soon as you go to the particular cursor, and then if you keep your mouse on that, it will tell you the breakdown of this $156,169. It will tell you in East region it has generated $46,000. In South region, the first class consumer product segment has generated $53,000. In West it is 20,000. In North it is 38,000. If I wanted to know the breakdown of standard class, in standard class for consumer segment we have 7,10,000 as overall sales. Right now, by keeping your mouse on it, the data gets automatically filtered and tells you how this $7,10,000 in the standard class has been generated, from where we generated the more number of sales. Looks like in the East region we have generated a huge amount of sales in the standard class. So we can, if you don't want to use the grouping options directly, if in case, then adding them as a tooltip will add more information to the user. This is how you can indirectly use a group functionality. Then let's go to sets. I think it is sets only. Just let's confirm. Yeah, sets. Perfect. Sets are also like groups only. There is no much differences between sets and groups. Sets also works very similar to groups, but the advantage of sets is it actually takes a conditions and then assigns a member according to the fulfillment of the condition. Say for an example, I would like to group the state, the same thing, the state and same state information that we have, but I would like to group the state information based on their sales. I would like to keep states that have performed above average and states that have performed below average, right? In that case, how will I identify that and then group it separately? I cannot group it using group function, because group function does not take any condition. It will simply hand pick the values in the dimension and group it. Whereas using a set, we can actually control the data basis the condition. So whichever member in the dimension who are fulfilling the condition will be present inside the set, and whoever is not fulfilling the condition will be outside the set. Let me show you that. Mm, I can show you state information only for this also. I'll show you sales. The sum of sales. We do not know what is the average sales value for each and every in each and every state here. So what I'll do is I'll go to a new sheet and check what is the average sales that we have. So sum of sales divided by 49 is the average sales. $46,882 is the average sale that happened across each and every state here. But let's see what are the states that are fulfilling, or what are the states that are above average, and what are the states that are below average. Using groups, we cannot do this. Let me show you groups one more time. See here, using groups, we will not be able to condition the data here. Instead, what we will do is we'll right click on the dimension on which we wanted to create a grouping in the form of sets, and then choose set here. Once you choose sets here, by default it gives you an option to choose members, or you can write a condition, or you can choose from the top or bottom condition. We will see all these three components separately one by one. The first thing is a general set. If I wanted to create a general set, I can create a general set. I can say the first four members should be in one set and remaining should not be in the set. So I'll say state set. So here whatever that I choose only will be available inside the set, and whatever that I did not select will not be available. I'll just give OK to it. So here sets will be represented by a Venn diagram, groups will be represented by a paperclip icon. So if I drag and drop sets inside the row now, you will see the first four elements being present inside the set, and all the other elements or members of this particular dimension are present outside the set. So what we can do is we can leverage this ability to generate an output which will show us above average and below average things. Sorry, I will edit the set. In this case, I can hand pick elements here, just like how can I group it, but only two things I can do inside the set and outside the set. I cannot have multiple groupings here. So the condition will be any element or member fulfilling the condition will be present inside the set, who are not fulfilling the condition will be present outside the set. How do we plot this? Now in this case, this is select from list where you can hand pick elements. You can also custom value list. You can add one element at a time. I'll say deliver. So deliver is also now a part of selection, part of our set. But yeah, I don't want to do this. Or I can use all function where all the members inside this particular dimension state will be a part of set dimension. Let me state dimension. Let me show you that. Let me drag and drop. Everything will be inside the set. See here, all the members of the element are present inside the set because we have used all. But that is something that we generally pretty much don't use. Let's go to condition now. This is the general filter. Select from list or custom value list or use all. Then in condition, I can write my condition. And by default, it is none. I can choose by field. What is the measure using which I would like to subset the data? I would like to see the sum of sales should be greater than or equal to the average sales, which is 46,882. 46 or 36, let me confirm this. Let us calculate the sum of sales divided by 49. It is 46,000, correct only. Okay, let me edit the set. See here, we can create a field and then we can specify that field also. But in this case, I will say if the sum of sales, which is basically the value that we are seeing for each and every state, if they are actually greater than or equal to my average value, then they are above average. If they are if they are less than that, they become below average values. In this case, I do not know what is the minimum sales and what is the maximum sales. It is just for our information. If I simply press load, it will tell us the minimum and maximum. The minimum is 920. Some state have sold for a sold amount for a dollar of only to 920, whereas at one case there is a state which has sold sales happened for more than 4 lakh dollars. So this is the minimum and maximum. The same thing can be achieved by formula also. I can write sum of sales greater than average of sales. Okay. Then I'll simply apply. You will find the same output. Since it is doing at every level, it is not giving me the output. So simply, rather than this, I will simply change this into 46,882. If I apply, then my machine will automatically try to pick those states which are actually greater, which those states which have sold products greater than $46,000, and the states with sales less than $46,000. I'll just give OK to this and then see the information. Let's sort the data by in and out. You can see how many states have been performing above average and how many states are performing below average. Very less states are performing above average, whereas multiple states are below average only. To validate this, what we can do is we can drag the set into the filter shelf and then choose only the states that are above average. Just give OK. There are 13 states that are above average to the sales, whereas there are 36 remaining states which are below average in terms of sales, which seems very weird. The data looks very imbalancedly distributed. Basically, the business is not happening similar to each and every state. Every state have a different proportionality of business. That is why the data is distributed like this. Now I have seen the best performing states. What if I wanted to know the worst performing states? I'll just choose out, then apply, just do OK. There are 36 states as I told you. Looks like a few states are selling sales only for $1,000, which are very poor, whereas North Dakota is selling for only $920, which is extremely poor in nature. So I have to focus on these 4 5 states where I have sales lesser than $1,000 or $1,000. So this helps us understand the data distributed into two different segments, one which will fulfill the condition, another one which will not fulfill the condition. This is how we can understand or take help of sets. Not just this, it also helps you to create something. Uh, it also does something which will be helpful to show two information at once. Now we have created only one set. This set is present here. I can create a couple of sets and then show something which will add more which will add actually more information, two different information, two contradicting information of the same business in only one chart. Let me show you that. I'll also explain the other components of set. Edit set, go to top. I don't want to, this is condition sets. I can go to top option. In top option I have by field, where I can do only two things. I can choose the top performing states or bottom performing states. I'll say, you'll see here there are only two options, best performing or worst performing. In best performing I'll choose top 5 by sum of sales. Okay, I would like to group, I would like to keep only the first 5 states which are performing very high in terms of sales. So I'll simply change this as top 5 states, the set name, then just give apply. The same thing can be written by formula also. Now what I'll do is I will choose only in option, where it will show us only the top 5 performing states: California, New York, Texas, Washington and Pennsylvania. Now what if I wanted to show the worst performing states? What I'll do is I'll go to state, right click, create set, where I'll say bottom 5 states. Here I'll go to top, I'll choose bottom option and then I'll give 5 here and then just give apply. Once I create this, look at this, it has created bottom 5 states now. I'll apply this into the filter shelf. It will show us the worst performing states: Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, West Virginia and Maine. These are poor performing states. Now, what if I would like to keep the top five as well as the bottom five in the chart. See what happens when I drag and drop top five into the states, everything will disappear. See here, it says there is no member that is present in both top five and bottom five. So to overcome this limitation, what sets offer is, sets offers us a fantastic operation. It lets you to combine two sets. So I'll choose top five and bottom five. Right click. I'll say create combined set. Using combined set, we can actually create you know a set which will have the combination of both the elements or some other things as well. There are four different conditions. We will see that. I'll simply write top and bottom five. Now it says there are two sets we have selected, bottom five states and top five states. These are the two sets that I have selected. Then what is the type of combination that you wanted to create? All members in both sets, or you wanted to have only the shared members in both sets, or you wanted to have bottom five sets except shared members. This is non-join, sorry, unjoin. And then this is left unjoin, this is right unjoin. So basically the members in the right table will be given except the shared members. If Wyoming is present in both the grouping that we are both the sets that we are trying to union, that case Wyoming will be left out. That is what left unjoin and right unjoin does. But in this case, we want all the members from both the sets. So I'll just give OK. And then I'll simply drag and drop this into filters. It will show us 10 different states, starting from California till Pennsylvania for the top five, and Wyoming till North Dakota till the last worst performing states. So I'll simply rename this as top and bottom states by sales. I'll reclick this. Now I'll also remove this also. I don't want to see this label. We have this chart, but I would like to convert this into a chart and see how it actually looks. It doesn't look so good because the least performing states are not coming properly. So I'll try to create a highlight table and then try to sort the data. If I see here, the colors, the states with darker colors are having good values, whereas the states with lesser colors are performing worst. So how can it be visualized? The other way it can be visualized is by creating a bar chart, higher to lower, and then I'll simply duplicate this sum of sales. Then I will simply transpose this by giving a negative. Now this has to be here. Sum of sales will be there. Right click, not dual axis, sorry. Right click, deselect show header, right click, format this, remove the borders first. I'll remove the grid lines. Perfect. So we have this data sorted. So what I can simply do is convert things into upside down. What happens with that is it creates a funnel chart for us. Exactly. Look at this. It creates a funnel chart for us where the state with highest number of values or high sales will be represented like that, and states with less performance in terms of sales are distributed like a very small numbers. We can also show them the numbers so people can understand how much sales each and every state has bought up. And these are the why these are five worst performing states will be the next question to the field officers so that they can address what are the best performing and worst performing. Even in an organization, you will have best performing teams and worst performing teams, and the hikes and the promotions will be given or distributed accordingly. So it becomes very vital that we are able to produce something which makes the business users understand the data better. In this case, without sets, we will not be able to create both top performing and worst performing members inside the state, which is very important in this case. That brings us to the end of sets. These are the two use cases of sets. But apart from this also, what we can do is we can use set actions in dashboard. So while we are building dashboard, I'll explain how to use set actions to achieve something which cannot be done using parameters or through filters. um yeah, so group 1 and group 2, bottom and top and bottom sales, states by sales. Then let's go on to the next topic, which is parameters. Let me see. These are sets. Yeah, parameters are very, very, very important component in set tableau. Now what if I would like to say, I would like to see the top 10 states that are in terms of sales. I'll go here, rename this sheet as parameters, remove this, show me the state. Sorry, not the grouped one. Yes. Now, see what happens in this case. In this case, we have 49 states in this, but ideally, your the you know stakeholders or the clients may not want to see all 49 information, all 49 states information, because it is going to consume a lot of space, because they need to use a horizontal or a vertical bar to understand what is the value for each and every state. Rather, what if they ask you to give them an option where they can choose how many elements of states they wanted to see by a condition. If they wanted to see the top 10 states by sales, the top 10, top 15, top 5, and bottom 10, bottom 5, or bottom 15, how can they achieve it? In order to do that, what we will do is, first let me show you with filter, and then I'll show you what is the difference between parameter and a filter. Sum of sales. So I'll go to what is this state? Where is it? Drag it into filter shelf. I'll go to top in the filter shelf where I can choose by field. By field, I can say sum of sales should be give me only the top 10 by sum of sales. I'll just give apply here. So you can see the top 10 performing states. But if I show them the filter for the user, they will not be able to change the top 10 selection. If they wanted to change this into top 5 or top 4 or top 3, they'll not be able to do it. Even though in the right side caption, if you see bottom, it says top 10 by sum of sales, which means that it is giving us sum of sales, gives us only the top 10 line items that are there in this particular column state by sum of sales. If I deselect or reselect anything, what happens is Tableau again picks 10 elements from the selected states. Here we have selected all the states but by choosing things, see what happens when I choose California. California will be excluded from this chart. However, there will be one more new member into the state. Have deselected California. Look at this. California is now out, and now there is another state which came into picture. So this is how a filter works. What if I would like to keep the changes happening dynamically? So I'll remove the filter. I'll go to this drop down here, choose create parameter. Here I'll say top n, so that the user can choose whatever states that they wanted to, how many so ever states that they wanted to see by a certain condition, which is sum of values. What I see here is we have the data type float, Let's keep it as an integer because we would like the user to see only the top 10, top 15, top 5, all those things which is an integer, not the numbers in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the machine to take inputs from the user as an integer only, not as a floating or any other data type. With this given, what we can do is we can go ahead and see if there is anything else that we would like to see. It asks me what is the value it should be present in the parameter when the workbook actually opens. So every time you close and open the dashboard, what is the value actual or present value it has to be present in the parameter. That is also something that we can choose. By default, if you give current value, what happens is you might have selected current value as 2 or 2 or something else. It automatically gets popped up last in the last operation when you have asked the machine to show you the top 10 or 15 states. What happens is the machine will retain the view in 15 states only. So the current value will be 10. Then the display format automatic, just the format in which you wanted to show this number. So I'm leaving the machine to choose this. Allowable values, all by default it allows all the members in the state to be evaluated to this. I'll just give OK in this case. Now it creates a new folder called parameters in the beneath, and then it shows us the parameter that we just created. Now see, right click, show parameter. It says it is showing top 10 states, but if you see here there are like 49 states. All the states are already in the view. It has not subsetted anything. For our parameters to work, we need to either use it directly or indirectly. Now how will I use it directly is I will have to go to state selection, state dimension, drag and drop it into filter shelf. Once you drag and drop it into it, you have an option called the top operation. Using the top operation, what we can do is there are two things that can be done. Either I can choose top 10 or bottom 10. Also, I can do one more operation which is simply selecting the parameter that we just created. So I'll simply choose the drop down here and then select the parameter that we just created, top n states. Once you choose this, all you need to do is just go ahead and apply, and then you can see that the 49 line items that we have here will be converted to 10 because our parameter has a value of 10. Look at this, we have errors here, so I'm just going to give OK in this. Look at this, by default it gives you the top 10 states. But the good thing about using a parameter is that if I would like to change this into, say for an example, I would like to change top n states into 10 into 15. All I have to do is change the 10 into 15, press enter. Automatically it will show me the top 15 states here. See here, it is showing me 15 rows into one column. What if I would like to see the top three performing states? I'll just give 3 here, and then it directly gives me this data which is subsetted by showing only the top 3 states by sales. So what parameter does is parameter implements an action on the filter which we have kept it in the filter shelf, through which the data can be controlled. This is the idea behind parameters as well. So it simply lets you control the data at a particular level. So this is one of the major use cases where the user will be given the option to choose something, and basis the choice that they have made, the selection can also be converted. Now let me show you two more use cases for parameters. And yeah, there are several use cases, but two widely used functionality or use cases I'll show you. Units. I'll create something called as units, and then I'll choose list option. In list option, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have uh, two things. One is if the user wanted to see the data in millions, looks like we don't have anything in millions. So what I can show it in thousands divided by 1000. I can also show it by lakhs. So if the value was 1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, lakh. If it is lakh, then it should be displayed as lakh. If it is thousand, then it will be displayed in thousands. Then if it is one, then it means dollars. So what I'm trying to do is the numbers that we are seeing in the chart here in the data that we have here is distributed at both it is distributed at a very high level, 4,57,688 dollars. So in that case, user may not be able to understand different units, or if they wanted to have different units, how can we show them? Some cases user might want to see the data in thousands, some user case the user might want to see the data in lakhs, some user case that user might want to see the data in the raster format. So I'm considering all these three use cases and giving some values under display as. So this is what it will be displayed to the user, but this is the value that each and every variable here will have. Lakh will have a value of 1 lakh, thousands will have a value of 1000, and dollars will have a value of 1. Now by creating this, our case will not get resolved. So what we have to do is we have to create a calculated field now to display units separately. Now let me show you the numbers. I would like to change things here. I'll say display units. Okay. I'll write it for, first let me create display units for sales. I'll say case. When I say case, I will choose units parameter that we created. What I'll do is when someone chooses 1 lakh in the parameter, 100,000, 10,000, lakh in the parameter, then I would like the machine to take the sales value and divide it by units. And when someone chooses 1000 also, then also I would like the machine to divide it by units. Then when someone chooses 1, then I would like to keep this number as it is. But one thing that I would like to do is I would like to round everything to 1 or 2 decimals. So I'll simply use a round function. Round it to 1 decimal. End. It says the calculation is valid. Just simply apply. Just give OK then. Yeah. Rather than using sales, what I can do is I can use the calculation that we just created. Now you can see the values as it is, but what I would like to see is I would like to see what is the current selection in the parameter. Now everything is showing in lakhs, but this doesn't seem to be right. This is 3 lakhs and this should be 4 lakhs and this should be 1.7 lakhs. Okay, let's reformulate the calculation that we have written. Edit. Once you calculate the once you create the parameter, we will be able to then just do, sorry, this should be lakh thousand lakh thousands of dollars. Here it doesn't allow me to use round because it is an aggregated function that I'm trying to do. Sum of sales divided by units. Then what I'll do is, I'm sorry, excuse me. Yes, this is what I would like to do. I'll simply copy the same. The expected type integer found a string. When someone chooses lakh, then give me sum of sales divided by units. In comparison case must be an integer type. Hmm. Okay, expected type integer found string. So I'm trying to have when someone chooses 1 lakh, let me convert this. It's all about converting it is about typecasting issue here that we have. I'll try to convert this. Okay, it says expected type itself is uh, just fixing this formula to show you how it can be leveraged. 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh. This should work properly, I believe. Let me remove this and then replace the calculation that we just wrote. This should work fine. Let us just validate it. Perfect. If you see here, the value is shown as 4.57 4 lakh 57,000 is shown as in the units of lakh, where you can see it is 4.57 lakhs, it is 3.10 lakhs, it is 1.70 lakhs, which is exactly what we try to do. But again, if I wanted to see it in thousands, then I can see it in thousands as well. It will say me how many thousands of dollars are there. $457,000, $310, $310,000, $170,000. And if I wanted to see the data in the rawest format, it will show me the value in the rawest format also. Then I'll remove the sales that we have here. Show header, deselect this, format this, remove the grid lines, remove the borders. I don't have any borders here. Perfect. We don't want to show this title. Now let's change this first parameter into 10, and then always keep the data this way, so we can create some different charts. In this case, I'm thinking of creating a line chart. Let me see. It looks good to me. I'll I'll create some different charts this time. I'll choose the second chart to be an area chart. I'll choose a very light color. Perfect. I'll choose a very darker color. Yes, makes sense. I'll remove the headers. We don't want to see the headers. Don't show me any headers. Deselect the headers. Sorry, I first have to synchronize this. I'll just change it into a bar chart. Decrease the size. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Don't show the header. And we can actually play with this. I'll control change this. I'll put this into full view. Reformat this. Looks like I have grid lines still. I'll remove the row divider and column dividers. So nothing will be there in the chart unnecessarily. Also, we can format the line chart that we created by enabling border. Now what we can do is we can show the values on top of this. Let me have put this into full view. Now you can see that what are the top 10 performing states by sales. If I wanted to change the top 10 states into something else, I can do that as well. Say for an example, I will see this into 15 maybe. Press enter. Automatically my chart gets dynamically changed. It shows me the top 15 states by sales. The units in which it is showing us in lakhs. Let me format this also. Let me format the units as well. So format. I'll choose this number into currency custom. I will have one decimal place for everything, and then I would like to show the numbers in the same format I would like to show. Dollars. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. Yes. If you see here, 4.6 lakhs dollars have been generated in California. 3.1 lakh dollars have been generated in New York. In Texas, it is 1.7 lakhs. Washington also more than a lakh. Pennsylvania more than a lakh. Florida, Illinois, and Ohio, Michigan, Virginia, all these states are very close to a lakh. But North Carolina, Indiana, Georgia, Kentucky, and New Jersey doesn't seem to have a really good sales, but they are also falling under top 15 states. What if I wanted to see the units in thousands? I would like to simply change the parameter here and then see how much sales each and every states have generated as thousands, as sales in terms of in the units of thousands. And what if I wanted to see the raw numbers? I can see the draw numbers as well. So parameters can be used to leverage different actions, except not just only for subsetting data. This is second use case of parameter. There is one more important use case for parameter is there. The second use case for parameters. Order date. Um, I'm just doing some formatting. I'll show you what I'm trying to do here. Right click, edit the axis. I don't want the machine to start with 0. So deselect where is include 0. Since there are going to be only 12 months, I'm going to ask the machine to start from the right place and end with the right place. Or maybe I think this will look, you know, good, at least for viewing. Let me see if I'm missing something. Automatic, I did not change anything. Cool, we have the charts displayed here. But what if I would like to see, by selling this much of, this is the sales that happened across all 12 months in my business. What if I wanted to see what is the profit that I've generated by selling this much of sales? I have profit calculated separately, so I can drag and drop profit. It creates another chart now. What if I wanted to know the quantity that has been sold to generate the sales? It creates one more chart. The problem here is three different charts will consume so much of space, and at times as a user you may not want to see all the measures at once. You would like to understand the data by one measure first and go to the next measure and so on. If there is an option to toggle between measures, how can we do it? In that case also we can use parameters. I'll choose parameter. I'll say measures. Then I'll change the data type into string because I'm going to give the name of the measures. Choose list. Here I will first say profit, then I will say sales, then I will say quantity. Is there anything that I'm missing? Profit, quantity, sales. If I wanted to see discount also, I can show discount here. I'm sorry about the hiccups. Once we create the parameter, what we can do is we can create a calculated field. Measures for toggling. Here I'll write a case function. I'll start with case measures. When someone chooses profit, then give me the original profit that we have in the data set. When someone chooses quantity in the parameter, then give me the original quantity. When someone chooses sales in the parameter, then give me original sales. When someone gives me, when someone asks you discount, then give me discount as well. That's it, the calculation is valid. Just give OK. Now instead of profit, sum of profit, I can give this and remove this. Then what I can do is right click the parameter that we created and ask the machine to show the parameter. Look at this. It tells me the profit now. If I wanted to see sales, it tells me the sales. If I wanted to see the quantity, it gives me the quantity. If I wanted to know the discount that has been given in the last 12 months, I can see that as well. So it lets you toggle between each and every measure as and when required. Now let's beautify this. We have this, but this is not right way to understand this. So what I'll do is I'll format this into um in the axis. I would like to see them as abbreviation. Yeah, this way it helps. Yes. Perfect, we have this, but the problem is the numbers are not so very great. Okay, I'll decrease the number. Again, I didn't like the chart, so what I'll do is I will change things here. I'll go to the second chart or maybe the first chart, change this into area chart. Keep the lightest color. Go to the second one also. Choose the darkest color. I would like to change this into a circle. That way it'll look really nice when we dual axis this, and then synchronize the axis. We can understand how the data is distributed at each and every month for several measures by putting it into a area chart and making it look good. I'll deselect the headers. We don't want to see the headers. Now you have a clean chart with borders. Again, we don't want borders. I'll go to borders, remove row divider and column divider. Next thing I would like to do is add values to each and every month here. I'll just drag the measure that we just created, put it in full screen. You can see here what we have is we have sale profit for each and every month. Looks like in the month of in the last quarter on itself, October, November, December, even from September, the business is doing really well. Whereas in the middle of the year doesn't seem to work properly. In July we had a dip. In April also there's a dip in the business. But however, various in terms of generating profit, I've generated like 40,000 plus profit, no, 40,000 plus dollars as profit in the month of December, which is a good sign. Talking about sales, how much sales have generated in the month of December? I've generated $325,000 as sales, through which I've earned $43,000 as profit. Same thing happens for quantity, same thing happens with discount as well. So you can take the advantage, you can actually leverage the functionalities of all these three components, parameter, groups and sets, to achieve things that will actually help the business user to understand different dimensions of the um, business. Now that we have created this measure, what I can do is I can go to the tooltip and enable the group that we created, and then I'll put it in full screen. If I choose January, it will tell me what has happened in January. This $57,000 sales have been generated with the help of four different groups. 30,000 in east, 21,000 in north, west. Okay, doesn't look like a proper calculation, because in group, if you see here, we have used the sum of sales. We shouldn't be using sum of sales. Rather, what I'll be using is I'll be using the measure that we just created. Now let's go to the parameter that we just created. Now let's compare the 57. The value should be equal to 57 now. 23 plus 16 will give me 39. 39 plus 16 will give me somewhere around 56 point something. And we have 0.30, which will make it as 57. So now we can see in the month of January, in the south region, we were generating more sales than other regions. West region seems to perform very poorly in the month of January. What has happened in the month of uh, you know December? But I would like to change this into sales for an example, or maybe profit. See here, the $43,000 profit has been generated majorly from the region of west side, and in east and north it seems to be fine. East, north and south have performed very similar to each other. Whereas in west it has outperformed all the other states. If you see the difference between January and December, in January the contribution of sales was very less, in the West region, whereas in December the contribution of West is very high in terms of business. So this is how we can leverage the components and functionalities of all the different components inside Tableau and create visualization which will report the business with more information. It is not about adding more layers, it is about adding more information without messing up the charts. That brings us to the end of parameters as well. Let's see if there is anything else that we need to learn today. Parameters, we saw 3 use cases in parameters. Parameters. Perfect. So that brings us to the end of this session. Let me recap what we have learned. So we learned about 3 different components of Tableau: grouping, sets operation, and parameters. Groups, as the name suggests, it lets you to group the data. The best thing is it will let you handpick the members to whatever group that you wanted to have. You can find members, you can reassign members using groups. Whereas in sets, it also lets you to handpick the members, but the best thing about group sets is it lets you to subset the data basis condition. The condition, if the members inside the dimension fulfilling the condition will be in one group, the members inside the dimension which is not fulfilling the condition will be in a separate group. That is what a sets does, inside and outside set. Whereas using parameters are basically static filters. They are not very dynamic, but they are static in nature, which allows you only one value and lets you to filter the data. It is all about controlling the data. Thank you so much for joining this class. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, OdinSchool. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you one more time.